US President Donald Trump has abruptly cut off trade talks with Canada over its digital services tax on US tech firms, calling it a blatant attack. Moreover, Trump said he would introduce new tariffs on Canadian goods within the next week. Here's what the US president had to say.
Canada put a charge on some of our companies, and Canada's been a very difficult country to deal with over the years. We hear Canada, we have a great relationship with the people of Canada, but it's been very difficult. And they put a charge, and they were a little bit early, we found out about it. And we have all the cards. We have every single one. We don't want to do anything bad.
The move throws US-Canada relations back into chaos after a calm period, including a recent G7 meeting with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. The tax, which targets companies like Amazon, Meta and Google, is a 3% levy on digital revenue above $20 million from Canadian users. Trump announced the termination of all trade discussions with Canada until the tax is reversed, calling Canada a difficult country to trade with. Canada responded, saying it would continue engaging in negotiations. Meanwhile, U.S. stocks were temporarily impacted by the news but have since recovered. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the government could retaliate against Canada and other countries with similar taxes. Joining us at this point is Ruben Johnson, Director, Asia Research Center at the Casimir Pulaski Foundation. He's live with us from Warsaw in Poland. Thank you for being with us today on NewsX World, Ruben. Let me begin by asking you about this latest hiccup in US-Canada trade talks. What do you make of it?
I don't see a positive outcome from this. I mean, Trump is a businessman, and he's always looking for a resolution that has a plus at the end of it. But I don't see it for this one. I mean, Canada is America's largest trading partner. And it's not just the problem with the digital tax, which supposedly it would cost Amazon, Google, and these tech companies in the US another $2 billion per year. But it creates huge problems for a big example is the automotive industry, which is finally getting back to recovery after what happened during COVID. Because of the way we build automobiles, automobile parts are made in different parts of the Americas, and then they are shipped to final assembly points. And because of the manner in which those supply chains are set up, these parts cross the borders between the US and Mexico, US and Canada several times. And I think this could become a financial and a logistical nightmare and could cause a lot of harm to this industry.
Yes, absolutely. Ruben, also, as far as these new taxes are concerned, do you believe other countries could also be impacted by them? We're learning that the markets also reacted pretty sharply to this development, although they have kind of recovered now.
Well, all of these things are now interconnected. I mean, what did we learn during COVID? We learned during COVID that a lot of the piece parts and components that we need to build, I'll go back to automobiles, that we need to build automobiles come from China. And you had production lines shutting down because the majority of the wiring harnesses made for many vehicles in the world were made by factories in China. So yes, everyone ends up being impacted because we're in a global economy where everyone is connected to everyone else.
Absolutely. Also now, Ruben, as far as the US-Canada trade talks are concerned, do you believe they can recover from this, fresh blip? Or do you believe Donald Trump's latest statements will have a far more severe impact on US-Canada relations going ahead?
I'm afraid, unless this is just a move to try to stake out a position, a bargaining position, so that they can go back to the table and discuss within a short period of time. But if this turns into a protracted situation, this could have all kinds of effects that we don't want it to have. Canada is a major customer, or has been committed to be a major customer for the American F-35 Joint Strike Fighter. They could rescind their decision if this goes on, and they could decide to start sourcing military aircraft from someone else. So that's just one example of many things that could go wrong if this turns into a prolonged dispute.
All right, we're getting some more big news coming in this hour.